Nigeria's current economic situation and structural barriers are driving youth migration from the country. Young people across various professional fields, especially from the medical and tech sectors, seek greener pastures in European countries with no plans of return.
Let's be honest with ourselves. Leaving Nigeria does not switch off your emotions. If anything, it sharpens them. When you land in the UK, US, or Canada, you start comparing systems almost immediately. You notice that electricity stays on, trains mostly run on time, emergency services respond, and suddenly, things you tolerated back home start to feel heavier. Now, imagine watching Nigeria approach the 2027 election from that distance. You are earning in pounds or dollars, yes, but your younger sister's tuition in Ibadan just doubled because inflation won't rest. The naira falls again, and the remittance you sent last month is already losing value before it even clears. You convert £500 and expect relief for your family. Instead, it disappears into rent, diesel, food prices, and school fees that keep climbing. That's where the anger begins to grow. Under the APC-led government, many Nigerians have felt the weight of subsidy removal, FX instability, and rising cost of living. At home, people are exhausted, they are adapting, they are hustling. But abroad, you are watching the same headlines and thinking, how is this sustainable? And then, political parties begin to position themselves for 2027. The APC defends its record. The ADC tries to present itself as an alternative. Speeches are made, promises are recycled. But if you are abroad, you are not just listening emotionally, you are comparing. You are asking, why can Ghana stabilize its currency faster? Why does the UK debate energy prices transparently? Why can Canada publish clear economic forecasts? It's not that Nigerians at home don't care, they do, but proximity breeds survival mode. When you are dealing with traffic, fuel queues, and daily stress, politics becomes something you endure. From abroad, you have space to think, and space can turn frustration into anger. The japa wave didn't start because Nigerians hate Nigeria. It started because people were tired of uncertainty. Doctors left because of hospital conditions. Tech workers left for better pay. Students left because strikes kept shutting down universities. Now, here's the twist. Many of those who left are the same ones who follow Nigerian politics obsessively. Why? Because their migration story is political. If ASU strikes delayed your graduation, that's political. If FX policies made your business collapse before you relocated, that's political. If insecurity in your state pushed your parents to beg you to leave, that's political. So, when 2027 comes up, it's personal. You are paying £1,200 in London, juggling shifts, and still sending money home every month. Nigeria receives billions of dollars in remittances annually, and diaspora Nigerians are a major part of that flow. That money cushions families, it pays hospital bills, it funds small businesses, it keeps households afloat in an economy struggling with inflation and currency volatility. Now imagine sending money home and feeling like government policies are constantly eroding its value. The naira drops, prices spike, your support has to increase. You feel like you left, but you never really left. Then you watch political debates online. APC supporters say reforms take time. ADC voices argue for structural change. Other parties promise transparency, youth inclusion, economic diversification. You want to believe someone, but you also remember similar promises in 2015, in 2019, in 2023. That's where the emotional tension lives. At home, some voters have learned to lower expectations. Abroad, expectations rise because you now see what functioning institutions look like. You see what public accountability can feel like, and you start asking harder questions. The japa generation is not just economically invested in Nigeria, they are psychologically tied to what could have been. And that makes every election feel like a second chance or another disappointment. Here's the irony. Most Nigerians abroad cannot vote in Nigerian elections. There is still no fully implemented diaspora voting system. Yet, their influence is louder than ever. How? Through money, media, and momentum. Diaspora remittances are a lifeline to the Nigerian economy. That gives Nigerians abroad informal power. Families listen to them. Communities listen to them. When someone in Houston says, "This policy is not working," cousins back home pay attention. Then there's social media. The biggest Twitter spaces, YouTube discussions, and TikTok political breakdowns often include diaspora voices. Nigerians in Canada dissect the national budget. UK-based lawyers explain constitutional loopholes. US-based analysts compare Nigeria's debt profile to other economies. It shapes narrative, and narrative shapes perception. During election cycles, diaspora Nigerians also organize protests abroad. Demonstrations in London or Washington get international media coverage. They create diplomatic pressure. They frame Nigeria's political image globally. So, even without ballots, there is influence. As 2027 approaches, the tension between APC's record and opposition platforms like ADC's proposals will intensify. Nigerians at home will weigh daily realities. Nigerians abroad will weigh long-term structure and global comparison. The anger you hear from the diaspora is not always superiority. Sometimes it is fear. Fear that the country they still love may drift further from stability. Fear that their children might never consider returning. Fear that the gap between Nigeria and the countries they now live in will widen. So, here's the real question. If those abroad are disinvested without voting rights, what does that say about the depth of connection? And for those at home, do you see diaspora anger as interference or as a reflection of shared frustration? Let's talk about it. Are Nigerians abroad too angry, or are they just looking at Nigeria from a different angle? There's something that happens quietly after your first year abroad. You stop romanticizing dysfunction. At first, you are just grateful to have left. You are focused on survival, finding accommodation in Birmingham, adjusting to winter in Toronto, understanding taxes in Texas. But slowly, you begin to observe how systems are designed to work. You see how local councils publish budgets. You see MPs or city officials get grilled on live television. You see public outrage lead to resignations. And then you look back at Nigeria. You remember power outages being normal. You remember bad roads being explained away. You remember fuel scarcity becoming a seasonal event. But from where you now stand, those things no longer look inevitable. They look like policy failures. So when APC defends economic reforms by saying give it time, diaspora Nigerians measure that against countries where reforms are debated transparently, tracked, and audited publicly. When ADC or other opposition platforms promise structuring, job creation, or economic stability, diaspora Nigerians ask for details. How exactly? What timeline? What cost? At home, political loyalty can be shaped by ethnicity, region, or party identity. Abroad, exposure to issue-based politics changes your lens. You see how healthcare systems are funded. You understand what social safety nets actually mean. You learn how minimum wage debates are handled. That awareness can make Nigerian political rhetoric feel shallow. It's not that diaspora Nigerians think Western countries are perfect. They see inflation in the UK, they see housing crisis in Canada, they see polarization in the US, but they also see mechanisms for accountability. They see consequences. And once you've seen that, it's harder to accept that's just how Nigeria is. So, as 2027 approaches, the frustration you hear from abroad is partly born from comparison. Not comparison to shame Nigeria, but comparison to prove that better is possible. And once you believe better is possible, patience becomes thinner. Let's talk about something we all know. The real political battleground is not just Twitter or campaign rallies, it's the family WhatsApp group. You are abroad, you send money home. Maybe you helped your cousin start a small business. Maybe you are paying your younger brother's school fees. Then somebody in the group starts praising a policy that has clearly increased the cost of living. You feel it immediately. Because while they are debating ideology, you are calculating exchange rates. The naira drops and suddenly your monthly support has to increase. Rent in Lagos goes up, food prices climb, transport costs rise after fuel adjustments. Politics no longer feels abstract. It's financial pressure. During the japa wave, many families made collective decisions: sell land, borrow money, fund visa applications. That migration was an investment. Now, those who left are expected to make it and send money home. When government policies squeeze households at home, the burden shifts quietly to the diaspora. So, when someone says the economy is improving, you ask, improving for who? When parties begin to campaign for 2027, you listen differently. APC talks about reforming subsidy structures and stabilizing macroeconomic indicators. ADC talks about alternative economic blueprints and broader inclusion. You want to believe someone, but you also remember similar promises in 2015, in 2019, in 2023. That's where the emotional tension lives. At home, some voters have learned to lower expectations. Abroad, expectations rise because you now see what functioning institutions look like. You see how healthcare systems are funded. You understand what social safety nets actually mean. You learn how minimum wage debates are handled. That awareness can make Nigerian political rhetoric feel shallow. It's not that diaspora Nigerians think Western countries are perfect.